Hour, I'm going to do something I've been needing to finish since Monday when I started setting up this tree is complete the decorations on this tree look with you. So today that's what we'll be doing. The tree itself has floral stem sets on it. It's shaped, it's standing here, and I started pulling the ribbon down into the tree. But what I want to do today is just show you one of these ribbon techniques, show you my stem sets, add some ornaments, and Kathy says, yay, tree. Very good. I'm glad you're excited because there's a gentleman who just came in moments ago and he's like, no, no, it's too early. Depends on who you ask, right? Depends on who you ask. All of you guys are Christmas lovers like we are. So what I am setting up today is the Holiday Harmony tree. Hi guys, thanks for jumping on. Holiday Harmony, there it is spelled out backwards. We make a color palette. We make a very brief info sheet about our tree looks, of which there are 5 or 6 today. And we have champagne, mint, and blue combined with opalescent accents, creamy white, glittery, and lightly flocked pine. So I'm putting this on our Durham pine tree, which is a lightly dusted snow tree that has a little sparkle to it, but it's just a dusting on this tree, not completely heavy snow. So thanks for jumping on today. The other thing that Kate does, which is super helpful for our design team, is she makes a mood board for the design. So the mood board, notice the opalescence in there. You're going to see a lot of opalescence in the marketplace this year, not just here, but everywhere. Opalescent is going to be a huge thing for the holidays. And that combination pairs up so nicely with whatever you put it next to. So blues and greens will come out of the opalescent color, but of course it's also going to brighten up our tree because right now it's looking very tone on tone. We need some more contrast. So by the time I get the ribbon in the tree and I get the ornaments in the tree, we're going to have more of a contrasty look here so that you can see some things standing out a little better than they do right now. So there we go. Oh, good. Kathy says this is the color she's going to do her tree. Awesome. So this one is going to be blues and greens. We've got champagne accent on it. And before I start with the ribbon and the trims, let me show you a little bit about the stem sets. So the stem sets are a huge thing to us. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about stem sets. Well, we haven't this year. But the concept of stem sets is that we take our flowers, our picks, and our sprays, and we stack them in a specific grouping so that we can create a focal point instead of a sprinkling of flowers and stems. So for instance, this is a combination that we call a stem set. And when you stack them up like this, it's going to create an easy way to count how many you need. I'll give you some tips on how to place them. And it also gives you a very good starting point. So if you were to stack your stems in this way, you could pull these out, store them in bundles, and pull them back out the following year and have done the work only once. So that's exactly what I'm going to show you today. And then we lay that whole set on a tree branch. So for instance, in this tree look right now, I've got 4 of the combinations, this extra large combination set up, and then I've got a secondary combination that is a white magnolia set up, and I've got 5 of these. So there's 9 total stem sets on this tree. 5 of this type, 4 of this type, and then I do have some extra little bitty things that are going to go in as bonus combos too. So we've got, for our secondary combo here, some stems that are going to be, I'm not going to be dropping links today, but all of the Christmas is online. And that means you'll be able to find these things. I'll do my best to share the pricing, or not the pricing, but the title. Okay, Jane, can you ask Connie to talk in the back room? Okay, so then with this stem set, what I'm going to stack up today would be the pearlescent, the glitter and sequin cedar spray, which has a very pearly color. This is going to be called this is a really great pine spray from last year. I'll give you the names here quickly. This is going to be the juniper frosted. Then we're going to layer that up with our glittered leaf spray, which is a true champagne or platinum color, and then top it off with the magnolia, the glittered white magnolia. So this bundle times 5 is going in my 7.5-foot tree. We actually don't wire these together And as you can see in the store for retail, we have the tags on. So explaining why the tags are still on these too. These stems are quite long. You would have the option at your house of cutting them shorter if you want to, but you can also just simply stack them and lay them in the tree. And if you have too much stem length, you can bend the back of the stems down and tuck them along the pole of the tree so that you haven't needed to cut anything shorter. When they lay on the branch, and you don't want to put them in a hole, you want to set them on a surface. So they're sitting on a branch. You could actually take 2 of the pine sprays from the tree itself and twist them over the tops of your stems, just like bread ties. Twist them in there, and that secures it so that the stem set is going to stay in your tree where you place it. Then you'll need to do a little shaping so that the stems and sprays will casually kind of drape over the branch rather than looking stiff and straight. So that draping is what I did with just a little shaping there. Same thing with this set. This is the feature set that is going to add our color to the tree. I also have ornaments in this color, and this one is stacked up with a really great pick that we bring back every year and use. This is the Sitka spray, and it will drape off my branches beautifully. Then we have a different champagne colored stem today, and this one is the glittered cedar spray, the light and airy champagne color. And then we're stacking it with our next is this little eucalyptus spray that is natural. They're tangled. Then we used our opalescent bead spray, so it's an acrylic opalescent bead spray that has an opal look to it. And stacking on top of that whole stem set, we have 2 florals, the velvet glittered poinsettia in a green color, and this magnolia, which is going to be a magnolia pick that's micro beaded with gold. And those things nestle on the top all together, and again, they're resting on my branch. The stems are fine here because we have a longer, deeper tree area. And once I get that in place, I'm twisting across and locking those 2 stems in with locking the stem sets in with 2 pine sprays, just twisting them like twisties over top so that everything's secure and staying put. So that's a little bit about the stem sets, how I created them, how I placed them. If you're going to stagger them on your tree, I think 9 stem sets work well for a 7.5-foot tree because most people are decorating the front 2/3 of the tree, and at some point the back is either in the corner, along the wall, or against a window where the floral really can't be seen through the window, just the lights. So think about that also. This way I've staggered 1, 2, 3, 4 of the greens, and in between that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the whites. It's kind of like placing a little bit of a staggered layout, and I know that for explaining this, it's somehow harder to visualize it when I can't pull the camera back. Then hopefully what I'm saying is making sense. So that is 5 of the white sets and 4 of the colored sets. Now in the little gaps in between, because this tree needs to show a lot of ideas, we also have a mini set because it's giving people options. Maybe you don't want the green flowers. You could instead use the mini set with the large magnolia. So this little mini set has a new pick that I really love. Well, it's got a couple things. These are very exciting items to me. This small new mixed pine spray here is natural. It doesn't have any frost or snow, but it is that blue-green color. It's the mixed pine spray with cone. Then we also have this fun little bundle of 3 stems here. Frosty and Icy. This is the ice leaf bundle in green. So we're going to lay that on top of the pine, and then we're topping it off with this new item that I would say is probably a glittered white berry spray. It does not have a title on it. And that atop everything else gives us a very small accent bundle. The quantity of these could be another 5. You could put more of these in, like 7 or 9. It does seem that odd numbers work great in these little scenarios of how many to purchase. There's a last item, creating another alternate. My trees will have more alternates than your trees, mostly because as people shop our look, they're making a decision on whether they just love the white, all white with no metal, if they love the color, if they love the color with no champagne, but they're going to bring over some silver. We do all kinds of changed up combos here at the store. But we also have a beautiful magnolia pick, and I can top that off. We've got several of these here with the Senecio, which is super showy. The Senecio pick could be added to any of my others over here. For instance, we could just tuck that with that magnolia and let that drape, which does look great, by the way. So that'd be one great thing to add to that one. Senecio spray is what that's called. It's a little bit more white silver than this, but I love the combo together. And then lastly, we have this unusual color combo here, which is a plastic pine cone spray. And I'm going to layer that with these magnolia leaves and tuck those in intermittently also. So this was planned to go with the Senecio, but boy, I'm also liking this. So it gives you some choices. And my trees are going to have more choices than your trees, but these are giving you some quick tips. Also to note, in the description of this video, when you go back to the title of the video, I put a link in there for the Christmas tree workshops that we offer online through the platform called Teachable. We have several different types of workshops that are inexpensive to purchase. You can download them or watch them, have access to watch them forever if you purchase it once. So the tree workshop in its entirety, top to bottom, more in depth, is there available in the title of this video. The link will get you to the website where you could purchase the full tree workshop if you'd like to. That's another pretty combo that works well together. And if we try that up here on this branch, you can see how nicely the pine cones and the magnolias layer out and add a little bit of glitz, and the pine cone gives you a nice chunky focal point. It's a different green, and this is going to be an unusual kind of blend. I think you're going to love this look. So as we do the stem sets, I place those first. Now, why do you put those stem sets on first? Those are important for balance. You know, you want to get the balance of your stem sets in place before you put the ornaments in. The ornaments can go around it. The ornaments can go wherever the gaps are. But getting your stem sets balanced, that's why I do that first. The other thing that we did first is, let's see if I can tip the camera up here. We added our topper as well. So, oh no, I cannot tip the camera. That's too bad. Here, I can raise it. We don't have the camera set up right. So the topper of the tree has multiple types of repeating stems up above. I don't think I have everything here behind me to grab and show you, but the topper is all designed with flower stems, and then I've started bringing my ribbon down the tree, running here. We do different ribbon looks in the store. And one of the things about the ribbon designs that I do is that throughout my store, I better show you all the different ways ribbon can be done so that you can be inspired and make a choice on what strikes you. We sell bows online, and we will, not yet, but we will sell bows online for every tree look. And the bow combos will just be small enough to buy self-contained so that you can get the bows and add them completely done without having to fight with long tails or long streamers. But I do want to show on every tree look how to just tuck ribbon straight through the tree. So, no, I think if we talk about the topper, I don't have any of the stems to show, or I could just, you'd have to go get them for me. Kate's going to try to help me here. It really doesn't go any further.
Well, it's because you have it set up wrong.
Yeah, I know, but it's okay. If you want to just go get the stems that I have in the topper, I'll just hold them in my hand and show them. It's just that they're all over by the design counter. So if she runs and grabs the stems that I am using as the topper, I'll just show them to you here after I do this ribbon.
Yeah, you have it all wonky.
Yep, we didn't set the camera on the stand correctly, and now it's kind of crooked.
It's super crooked. Oh, you loosened it. That's why.
So she's trying to move the camera around. Okay, that's okay. We're going to go back like this. There we go. So if she grabs me the idea for the top of the tree, I'll just show it to you down low. This tree is standing on a stand, and it's 7.5 feet tall. So it's looking like a 9-foot tree, but we actually do this to keep the floor space wider in the store. If we elevate a tree, then you're not having the widest part where you're walking around it. So that's kind of a retail trick. For the ribbon, so far, what I've designed is ribbon running down the tree in 3 different types. So we've got it tucked in, And the titles of this ribbon, we've got a blue color that is the 10 yards, 2.5 wide of Dupioni silk. Dupioni silk has a backing that's contrasting, and that again is a 10-yard bolt for $24.50. We also have this really fun textured one. You can see that. It's only $18.50 for 2.5 yards. I don't know the name of this one, but it has a little sparkle and it has a little gold and kind of a silver combo. Then we also have this outstanding look, which is $17.50. And I'm not sure what the title of that one is either, but it does have the correct sage green accent along with this warmer champagne color as the background. So this is all working out for an interesting combination using 3 at a time. I started at the top of the tree and created a loop set, 1 loop of each kind, twisted the pine around it so that the loop is at the base of the topper, and then I have been tucking it as I go down the tree. So you have to keep it kind of slack, and you can't pull it taut and run it just straight and tight like this. It looks funny. You really need to give it a nice amount of slack as you're going down your tree. So here you can see it's puffed up a little bit, loosely laid in a nice swoop. Should we call it a swoop? It goes in onto a branch where I've twisted it again with the pine stems to hold it as it tucks in. And then we're going to just work these 3 pieces down one more time. So you can do them individually and catch them back in the tree with a pine branch grabbed around it, or you could stick all 3 in together. I'm having better luck, I think, these days just individually pinching them in place. So this one is the number 3. They're all going near each other, but I can control a little bit more of how they show when they're tucked in one at a time. Get the idea there? It's fine. So then we go through the tree, running about 2.5 yards down my 7.5 foot tree. You've got 10 yards on each of these ribbons, 10-yard bolts. And with a 10-yard bolt, if you don't stretch it, 7.5 feet is like a little over 2 yards, right? So if you want to stretch it, you would have to use 2.5 yards stretched. Right now we're going to use just a little over 3 yards to make our way down the tree. So we'll be able to make 3 strips. 3 1/3 yards. 3 strips will come out to a full 10 yards. That's kind of the formula so that you don't pull it too tightly and you have enough looseness. You're expecting to use enough looseness. Your 3 different sections of trailing ribbon should help by having one kind of down the middle and one on each side of the front 2/3 of the tree. The white or icy hanging thing in the tree, this is the Senecio, which is S-E-N, S-E-N-C-I-O, I think, something like that, S-E-N-E-C-I-O. And then this other item here is the Sitka spray, S-I-T-K-A, Sitka. And that is a returning winner from last year. If you bought that last year, and if that was you, you're going to get that out. Maybe try it in your tree this year, huh? It's a good idea. So then we've got these last pieces tucking towards the bottom. And I end it, you can end it like that if you want to and just let them trail out and cut them off. It looks to me like I need one more tucking to happen and then let it trail. So I'm going to tuck it one more time by taking each of these pieces, reaching back in to the surface of a branch and bending a pine to catch it in place. By doing one at a time, then you can ensure that you've gotten the right kind of slack for each of the ribbons. So then we'll cut them off and work the rest of our ribbon back from the top to the bottom again. Probably could have pre-measured this to make sure that we don't short ourselves and come out relatively even. The other thing is, it really isn't super critical that each piece is exactly the same length, because if they aren't, you're staggering them in the tree anyway, and your tree comes to a point, so it will get very heavy at the top if all of your, which is essentially 9 pieces of ribbon, are filling up the top. It's too much ribbon. So staggering them a little bit where one might start lower also could be beneficial, and that way you don't have 9 ribbons all vying for space with the top of your tree. But at the top, just under the stems that I placed, I took all 3 of the ribbons together, I stacked them, I made a loop like this, and twisted the loop into the pine tree so that I would have the effect of a bow after I pulled it open. So once I get it tucked into the tree, then you pull all 3 pieces apart. It kind of makes a set of bow loops, but your tree is the only thing holding them. You could use wire, but in this scenario, I have only used the tree itself to pinch and secure this loop, and then my ribbon simply continues down the tree. So that's how that was started up at the top there, which is out of your eyesight. Sorry, it is difficult to get all the angles these days on everything. So I'm just going to place this here so that I can climb up and get on my ladder and add that up to the topper. But speaking of the topper, some of the things created in the topper, which is what we call the florals that we place at the top of the tree, we call that our topper. Now, unlike some designs where your tree might have only a bow at the top, or your tree might have an angel at the top, we don't see that as much anymore. We do floral stems sticking out of the top of your tree. And this is really an excellent starting point. This glitter sequined Artemisia bush is itself the perfect topper. So you already have white, you already have a single stem, and you already have multiple pieces fanning out. It's not terribly tall, 24 inches from top to bottom. So if your tree is near the ceiling, this may still work at your house, and you can always fan it very wide to create a shorter look too. So this is a optional, use it upright or sweep it over and make it look wider to create a lower product if it's getting close to your ceiling. We also have in the topper the beaded acrylic opalescent sprays. So I've got 1 of these Artemisia. I've got 2 of the beaded acrylic picks. I'm actually not going to open this one. Just holding it up there. I used 1 of this very large fern spray up there. If you can get a good look at this guy, it's big. The fern spray has 3 sections. So I actually just laid it open and fanned it out around the topper because it made it look wider and fuller in that way. And that's a white maidenhair fern. Let me double check the title of that. Pretty sure that is a glittered maidenhair fern spray. And then we also are using our natural eucalyptus up there. The natural euc is bringing the green color to the topper. So if you do 2 of the acrylic picks and 2 of the eucalyptus sprays kind of opposite each other, that would be minimal. You could also use 3s of them. That would work as well. And then we have one of our little juniper sprays tucked in times 3 juniper sprays because it's small. So we've got 3 of those in there, which is adding a little bit of green to break up the color combination. And lastly, this particular item that I really like, it has laser glitter. Do you see the color combo in the glitter? It's multicolor or rainbow glitter. They call that laser glitter. And this is the glitter gyp spray or gypso spray. To me, it looks like Queen Anne's lace. They're calling it gyp with a G, G-Y-P. So you would need at least 2 of those, 2 to 3. If your tree is big and full, you'll find that the 3s work better. If your tree is slimmer or more petite, you can get by with twos because they're just going to go opposite each other. So the gyp would go across from each other, the eucalyptus goes across from each other. You just work in opposites and pair up twos in the topper and this is now quite full. So for my 7.5-foot tree, this is plenty of material. I really don't need threes of everything. It gets very, very full. The other thing to note about this topper is I'm building all this in my hand, one stem at a time. That's what you want to do on the top of your tree. You want to place the stems individually rather than trying to take this whole bundle and wire it together and wire it into the top of your tree. Why do you think that is? Because you'd be obligated to place this entire very heavy stem bundle on one side of the top of the tree. And when you do that, what happens? No matter what, that thing is going to lean or look naked on the other side. So you're going to get the best, fullest results if you just place the stems one by one, sliding it into the top of the tree. And if your tree is wired with lights, you're actually slipping these long stems in their entirety down the center pole of the tree behind the light cord wires, which allows the stems to remain upright. If you're having a tree that you put your own lights on, then your light set will not be secure enough to hold the stems upright or to assist in keeping them upright. So you could start placing them one by one and wire them in there. You can wire them halfway through. You could use zip ties if you want to. You kind of have to work either with a helper if you're going to zip tie it, because that's a hard thing to do one-handed. But wiring isn't so bad one-handed. You could put a couple of stems in first, use a long wire, give it a twist or two, add a few more stems, take your wire and wrap it around one more time, give it another twist, and so on. So there's more than one way to wire as you go, but pre-lit trees tend to work without any wire at all. So Renee's commenting about our conversation last night about the angles of our cameras. So today I've got my camera set vertical, but my stand isn't allowing me to get tall enough to see the top of the tree. Oh my goodness. Just based on how I placed it today. So without taking everything apart, here's your topper. Trust me, that's what's up there. And that's how I created it. Here in the store, we have plenty of space. We have 14-foot ceilings. So this 7.5-foot tree, we might have increased the height of it by at least 18 to 20 inches by having these stems spike out of the tree. That's another important thing. If you feel like your ceilings are 10 feet tall and you need a 10-foot tree, do you really? Because if you put a 9-foot tree in a 10-foot room and put a little bit out of the top, it will be at the ceiling. So think about how much height you can add with a topper and save yourself the expense of decorating a super tall tree. Maybe you can jump down a couple of feet and do a super tall topper. So great tips today for you on tree decorating. There are some gorgeous stems on this tree, but there's also some gorgeous ornaments that I want to get out and show you today. Some showstoppers, in fact. And all of these ornaments are now online, so you're going to find them there. The titles might be the same as the ones that they say on the title here. This is the paper ball ornament in a blue-gray color. It's saying it's paper. I guess it kind of is. It looks like velvet though, but it really isn't a velvet product. Interesting for sure. This one says $19.50 on it for the price point. It's a larger ornament, so I would definitely place that deeper in the tree. And when I place my ornament, I kind of figure out where I want it to appear and sit, and then I reach back in and find a stem to hook the hanger on to support it. We also have some gorgeous opalescent glass. This is that glass that comes from India, so it's a heavier weight glass. They always do the tops and the bales this way. They tend to stay on better than the inexpensive glass ornaments that we buy in the multi-packs. This is a $10.50 ornament. It kind of goes from clear at the top to more milky at the bottom, but completely opalescent also. And that's going to be one that I would add mid-range in the tree. Let's see. In fact, this looks like it could go here and show up pretty well hanging in our tree there. We've got a super glitzy pine cone ornament in two sizes. This ornament has a plastic cone base with a plastic metallic top to it. These look great in bowls, by the way. And this is the glitter ice pine cone ornament. There's a 7-inch size, and I know we have a larger size also. Let me grab that one. Is this maybe a 9-inch size? It's a 10. The 10-inch is $13.50. So you could use these larger ones in the lower, wider part of your tree, and you could use the smaller ones a little bit higher up. This is $8.50 and this is $10.50. Those phenomenal, $13.50. A phenomenal look for a little bit of money, really. Comparatively, that's a great price point. And that one has a nice long hanger on it. Let's put one where you can see it. I'm going to just place most of these ornaments in your line of sight so that you can see them all. Actually kind of look nice paired up together in sets. A large and small combo would be another way to put that in too. So that's a really sharp looking ornament. What else have we got in our box of goodies? Oh boy, guess what we have here? A cute glass mushroom. Where's the hanger? This particular guy is meant for this tree. It's $12.50. We have more than one mushroom style this year. This is the glass winter mushroom ornament. How cute is that guy? It's a blown glass piece and pretty delicate, but super cute. Little touch of, I'd say this is a burgundy brown on the bottom and a bit of green on the top with the champagne color. We want to make sure he shows up nicely, so let's stick him at the edge of a branch where he'll be completely shown off. I also don't have my extender branch ready to add to this tree. That might have to be another live for another day. We've got a gorgeous opalescent beaded ball ornament here. This is $15.50 and it's called the beaded ball ornament in probably cream white would be my guess as the title. There we go. And that one is going to look good deeper in the tree also. Because it's white and because it's larger, I wouldn't have it hanging off the tip of a branch. I would let that hang in the tree a little bit more. This tree itself, though, has very nice indexing. There's lots of great space between the branches. It layers up nicely. It doesn't appear that it just got cut straight up and down. Try to avoid some of our poor customers back there. Okay, what else is going in this tree? We've got a pair of choices here. Grab a couple more things off camera to show you. These are going to be our basics that really add some excitement to the tree. This is clear but opal, and they're going to be the finial enchanted frost ornament. You've got two styles. They're $9.50 each. A little silver on there, but you know what? Doesn't matter. Morphing that in with our champagne works fine. Mixing metals never hurts, in my opinion. I don't mind it at all. So let's get a couple of those in there. And then we've got three choices in this look, three different shapes, a kismet, a round, and a finial. These are the rose painted ornaments. Do you see all the color in there? Isn't that something? Really sharp. Again, an opalescent, but almost like a silver opalescence. Very different look in this color combo as well. Let me see if I can get this to drape off the end over here. Put one down here. I'm just clustering ornaments where you can see them. Obviously, we would decorate the whole tree and get everything balanced and get our ornaments placed from deep in the tree out to the edges of the branches. The things that do go at the edges are more of our icicles and our longer draping objects. I love snowflakes in the tree. One of my favorite snowflakes, great value, would be this one here. And this has a snowflake that's an 8-inch acrylic frost. It's going to be primarily frosted, but the edges are clear. So those little guys are going to look great. Well, we're running out of space front and center. Let's try over here. It's always good if your icicles and your snowflakes can be with light. You want to aim for light right behind them from the tree. This is particularly beautiful, featured in a lantern or something. It's completely frosted, but not in an icy way. Just a matte frost finish. And this is the snowflake ornament that is 9 inches. and $28.50. This is a really large, very heavy one. And I often use this as a single standalone item in a lantern with a light set. But here in the tree, towards the bottom, sure is a great focal point, and it breaks up all the round ornaments also. So you need some different shapes. Speaking of breaking up shapes, this is a really long opalescent icicle that's going to go on this tree. And most importantly, it's kind of going around the display behind it. But this big guy is only $8.50. He is going to find a spot hanging down here towards the bottom. There's actually free area for this entire icicle to hang, in part because we have the tree on a stand. Also, there's quite a bit of distance to the floor, so that looks nice. And then here's the shorter one. This is a 10-inch glittered icicle, and that 10-inch glittered is only $5.50. So he is a much shorter piece that's going to be a lot easier to place. Maybe if I get him up here and you can take a look at how that hangs off. The other thing we need to remember to come back and do is add our icy extending branch. We have alternate items for this tree. And let me show you. Sometimes we do a tree look, and this one is going to be uber elegant. So the entire look, when we get it done, we'll have a few more gold ornaments. They're not all here yet, so we have a little bit more to add. Some champagne gold toned ornaments, and we'll make sure that the tree gets loaded up with the 3 strips of ribbon. But the alternate for this look, to make it more casual, if you like a more casual look, is there's a collection of branches that have this branchy birch look to it. It goes with the tree concept, would certainly be a great accent piece, but takes it more casual or more rustic and away from the elegance that I'm starting with here. So as an alternate, if you love this look, I assume it's going to be called an icy birch branch. These tags don't have descriptions, but there's also this long garland, really big garland. So a coordinating garland, a branch like this, and a pick with a bird nest. And the little pick with the bird nest is super cute. So let me try this idea just to illustrate a concept here. This particular branch, if we get it anchored in there really well, in the back where it's laying, I would take my pine sprays and I would twist it onto the surface of the branch so that I have secured it to support some weight, just like this. So he is in there, he's laying on the branch, and he is also twisted with the pine to the branch. Now you can move your icicles and add some really fun drama to your tree by using your long draping ornaments hanging off of your extending branch versus being tucked more closely to the tree and hanging off a pine branch. So it gives you extra surfaces to decorate, which can be very fun for collectibles if you're trying to place collectible ornaments, or if you're trying to use some glass or some very fine things that can get lost in your tree. This will give you an instant showcase area to feature unusual things or long draping pieces. And that's all with the help of a branch that has enough weight to it that it will extend out of your tree and support itself. So that's a little trick we call the extending branch trick. Every tree look will have some stems that will be able to do this look for you, and you'll find that as we go through the tree looks, we'll be pointing them out so that you get the idea and can try this at your house. My recommendation for these branches is to maybe put 2 or 3 in a tree. That seems to be plenty. If you get too many, it just gets very busy. But a couple of them, usually well up over the heads of pets and kids, is the best place to put them, higher up in the tree. And then if you do put 2 in, I'm sure to stagger them on each side of the tree, one higher and one lower, so that they're not straight across from each other like snowman arms. You know what I mean? So this is a great trick, and we call that the extending branch. So this is the icy birch twig branch. That's going to be the alternate look to make this tree design come out more of a rustic synopsis, but my ultimate goal for this tree will be to use all the elegant trims on it and then show these more rustic trims off to the side as a second choice for your look, just to keep it interesting, right? So there we've kind of recapped a little bit what we've got going on here. The ornaments, some of them are larger, placed deeper in the tree. The longer drapier ones, using our extending branch to pull them out of the tree. Our stem sets, of which on my 7.5 foot tree I used 4 different types of stem sets that were the full flowers and multi-stems, like this guy down here. There's 4 of these placed. And then I've got 5 of the flower with the white placed throughout the tree. And the placement and how we position them is a little better to show on a different video where I'm pulled back a little bit farther and can lay them out for you. But we do have that all in my tree decorating workshop. So the link in the title of today's video takes you to the Teachable platform where all the videos that I've created live, and you simply purchase them one by one and can view them forever with a one-time purchase at an inexpensive price, inexpensively, to be able to go through and stop and pause and repeat all the information. This was just the tip of an iceberg, or the tip of an icicle, literally, on how I do trees and the thoughts behind the different techniques. So ribbon techniques are shown there. Bow tying is shown on that video as well, which we could do for another day. But I try to keep it all in one area so that you can see everything in one fell swoop. And today's live is just touching a little bit on some of the techniques we use. So this tree is going to need a complete covering of all the ornaments, all the trims, and it's going to be rolled out in one fell swoop. When we do this collection, the Holiday Harmony, when it gets released as a collection online, it will have a page that you can go to see all the coordinates. It will have a bunch of floral arrangements, all the ribbon that works with it, and the accessories. So we have beautiful churches for this look, different kinds of candle holders, Santas, lighted little tree sets, all kinds of beautiful things that bring this look together that we will be adding and pulling into a collection for a future collection reveal. It's not scheduled yet, but we'll get there. Still a little bit early. My job is behind the scenes making sure the store gets set up for your inspiration, and then we'll come back and do videos when it's time to release each look by look. There's going to be 5 or 6 depending on how we spin it this year. You'll be able to see these different collections pulled together for your inspiration. So that is what I have for you today, guys. I'm cutting it a little bit short, but I know that there'll be a little bit of behind the scenes time needed to finish my tree today. And it's also very busy in the store. So I don't want to take up more of the time from the gals at the front counter. Thanks everybody for hanging out and joining me today. We're going to be back tomorrow, same time, same place. You know where to find us. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.